You can find full interviews on the Tell Us About channel, link in the description.
How did you get involved with GGG to the point where you were able to bring them onto the show? Did you reach out to them? They reached out to you? It just developed over time. What happened there?
I first reached out to Chris himself in 2013, asking for an interview when I first started streaming, which was quite ballsy. And I got a very polite message from his wife at the time.
Who was like, "You're not worth our time. You'll probably be gone in a week."
It was
just like Raizqt thinks while Ziz is puking.
It was like, Chris is very busy. That like Baeclast then started like 2 years after that. This was like literally my first stream. So yeah, I had a degree in documentary filmmaking. I made films interviewing artists. I'd always wanted to do that. Originally I was like, I want to be the guy who interviews content creators. I want to make a documentary on.
Are you still in my idea? But 10 years ago, is that what you're doing?
Basically, yeah. You're not original. It's someone.
Oh, not original. Darn it! Someone told me I was original, and that went to my head. And now I know you're lying because I'm always original. So
yeah. So I once sent a treatment to Athene because I was fascinated by Athene because I was like, this man is insane. And I was right. But I sent a treatment to his manager, like, dude, could be a really good documentary made. And then, funny enough, they made their own documentary.
Yeah, they made their own. Yeah.
But anyway, so I first reached out then. I've always kind of been of the point of view of just like, it's better to just make the punt and see what happens. It was like, again, if I didn't originally have that thing with Rise, I'm just like, hey, I'm a nobody, but like, what do you think? It wouldn't have ever happened. So I originally asked, nothing happened or whatever. I slowly became quite close friends with Bex, who's the community manager for GGG. I can't remember how we originally started talking.
It wasn't over drinks and Ziz wasn't puking in the background?
No.
Not for that one. No catalyst Ziz in this one.
No. I can't remember originally how it even started. We just started chatting a lot. And I think this was a big difference between why we became friends compared to like a lot of other people is like, I think it was originally I might have needed like art assets or something. I think that might have been the original reason. I was like, hey, can I get access to some like press package or something? But then we just started chatting about random stuff, and it's like 95% of our conversations are nothing to do with Path of Exile. So it was then one of those situations of like, okay, Tarke's been running this podcast for a while. We've worked with Ziggy a lot. We've worked with other people on the podcast a lot. I can vouch that he's not a complete dickhead. We can probably trust them to do some interviews. So I think I could be wrong in this. I think originally the idea was like floated to me of like they would maybe be up for doing an interview. And then I was like, yes. And I like really chased it. And then we had one and it went well. And then it would be like a rotating thing of like, a new league come out of like, hey, could we get one? Sometimes they ask me. Now it's a situation more so of they'll ask me, like, we would like to do, like, when the 315 thing happened, they approached us. I didn't approach them. General situation again, they approached Baeclast, like, we would like to talk about this. We feel like we've got something important to say. And I'm like, yeah, let's try and work it out. Currently, I'm trying to work out if we can get an interview for mid 317. That is one of the annoying things about the way they've changed their announcement schedule. So they used to announce the league, then launch 2 weeks later. Now they do a 1 week one. Since they've done that swap, it's much harder to do interviews unless you're part of the actual league announcement itself, which we've done twice, I think. But yeah, obviously, like the big real highlight of that was when they asked me to go. They flew me down to New Zealand. They asked me to like host the opening ceremony thing with Ziggy and Crep, and that was really cool. Because when I first
for Exile Con, right? When
I first started content creation, I had a list of 3 people that I'm like, if I could ever work with these 3 people, I'm like set. And it was Creparian, Preach, and Rectful. Obviously, sadly, with what happened to Rectful, that's never gonna happen. But yeah, I got to be part of the like opening warm-up thing with Creparian in person, which was really surreal. And then I recently had Preach on Baeclast when he did his blind Path of Exile thing recently, so that was very, very cool.